Hi all, it's Kate. Sorry that I still haven't gotten my camera stuff situated, so I'm not going to be taking pictures of me. But most important in this video, I'm going to show you my deck modifications. Now, this is where I store some of my decks. My other decks are right behind me in a glass cabinet. And let me swing over there and I'll show you real quick. These are, all of my decks right here, and some of them are modded in the boxes, and I'm not going to show them right now because I think the most important ones are on my desk, so I'm going to swing back over there. Okay, so I'm going to talk first about this Robin Wood Tarot, and these are the cards. And if they were like this on the front, where they actually go outside of the border a little bit, I would have been okie dokie with that, but they were really large and they were really intrusive in my opinion, so they needed to go. And just to give you to show you the differences between the size before and after, this is that card. So you do lose quite a bit of the card here, so that's a lot. But they did come out very nice. I'm not fond of the backs right now. It might grow on me, or it might get to the point where actually I do a rebacking on these. The cardstock itself is not very good. It's not my favorite, and the moisture that was in the room actually warped this card, if you can see it. So it's not a very good card. It's typical Llewellyn stock and not my favorite. If I had to get another deck, I would, that way. Just wanted to show you the deck itself. I decided to go with the blue edging, and for this one I use this Molotov marker. This is an acrylic paint marker. I know you can see my hands because I just got finished doing them, but once it dries on the card, it's not going to come off in your hand. I've done this several times now, and they're just about dry. And one thing that I do, which I will do to this deck, is actually take a cloth and rub along the edge of the deck, and to get some extras off. I used an edger on this. It's not the guillotine cutter, but it's the slide ones. I have a feeling it's not too bad. I haven't guillotined any of the cards, although do have access to one, so I might see if there is a difference between the trimmer that I have and a guillotine one. But I really do like the color of the cards because they really do match some of the images in this deck. And let me just show you a few of them right here. And I kind of like this blue line around it, so it really brings out the blues in the cards. They're very beautiful cards. I just wish that they were on better cardstock. The one thing I have to say, I tend not to like smaller decks. That was the only drawback for doing this, so I might just get the bordered ones, second one, and keep the borders, because I'm not sure of the card size in this. So if you ever used a vintage Pam deck, they're just a little bit bigger than than that. So, and this is a size of a regular deck of cards. So let me talk a little bit more. Let me show you a little bit more cards from the Robin Wood, which I think is a beautiful deck. Beautiful deck. I love the blues. That's why I edged it in blue. The greens and the bright yellows in this, just wonderful. I love this High Priestess card. If I had this in a bigger size, I would definitely hang it. Again, this is the Queen of Swords that I absolutely love. And this Knight of Swords, brilliantly drawn. I have to say that I do love the majority of these cards. They do resonate with me in a lot of ways. So that was one deck that I modded, that I actually trimmed. I've only trimmed two. The second one is, you could probably see it by now, is my Druidcraft deck. Now this deck is been with me for almost, I would say, this came out in 2004. I got it the same year that it came out. So it's 2018 now. So about a good 14 years. So it has really nice cardstock. I really like this. This has been through the ringer. I've used it for almost every single day since I got it, with a few exceptions here and there. And they've always been by my bedside, and some of them have actually been dinged up. That's why I didn't mind doing these. And I also have a backup copy as well, just in case I did anything stupid. I lost one card at one time, and I was heartsick. That's why I got the second deck, because I was just going to replace it, because I love the energy that this particular deck gives to me. As you can tell, my rounder didn't do a great job on these. In fact, I got rid of that, and I have to say that the Fisker's rounders are absolutely horrible and hideous. And but I ended up edging these in the bronze and gold Sharpie, and came out okay. I think I might go over them again with a kind of a glossy gold that I have, just because the gold and the bronze kind of merged into each other, and I'm not 100% happy with it. This is Sharpie. I probably would use my Liquitex Iridescent Bright Gold, and what I do is I get an empty marker container, put it in here, and edge them with that. And the reason why I use something like this is because I can change out the nibs, and I can refill, just put enough in here that I need, so the ink won't go to waste. This is an ink. This is an acrylic ink. This is an acrylic paint. So there are two different types of acrylic. And I do like how this looks. Let me see if I can find it. But if you can see this is where I would test the, push down the nib in here to get some more ink out. but this is the ink that comes out of it. It's really, really pretty. That leads me to the vintage Pam that I did. I'm going to tell you how I did this. And I really love how this came out vintagey like this. What I did is I used a black Copic marker. I think I have it right here. This is a black Copic marker. This is refillable. It has a chisel on one side and it has a brush on the other side. I use the chisel. And what I love about Copic markers is that the nibs are replaceable and you can refill the ink. Now, hold on to your wallet because they're on the pricey side. I do a lot of art projects on the side, so this does double work for me. That's why I got this. And then I used the Liquitex gold ink after I laid down the black Copic. I left some areas untouched with the black Copic because I wanted to get the kind of like worn type look for the card. Let me see if I can get it. It does glisten. You can see that. And I just really love that effect that the black pops, the gold pops on here. It's very, very nice. I just really do love how this deck looks. It has that old rustic vintage kind of gold look. Another deck I modified by edging is my Everyday Enchantment Tarot. I absolutely love this. I use all Copic markers for this. I didn't use any Sharpie in this, and different colors. I do like how this comes out. And just to show you what I did is I matched up the edges with the card face. I saw Simon's Modification and I absolutely love Simon's, but I'm not sure if I am ready to let go of the borders yet, although his cards are absolutely amazingly beautiful. The only thing is I might buy another deck to modify it with and just leave these, because some part of me actually does like the black, and for me, let me just put them out side by side so you can see what I'm talking about. So so if I have different colors next to it. So if I'm doing a spread, I can, without seeing the image on the card and the title, I can tell that this is a major, and I can tell that this is Pentacles because it's green. And for me, that might help when I'm counting, you know, the number of suits I have and the number of major arcana I have, so I don't have to look too deeply onto the card when I'm first starting. And for me, that's kind of important. It might not be for you, but it is for me. Another modification that I did, I feel like I'm stumbling all over the place, is this one. This is the Tarot of the Vampires, and I absolutely adore what I did for the modification here. Oh my word, this is so beautiful. I wanted the edge to kind of look like blood-stained old box type of thing, and this just really does it, and it matches the rose and then the background color. Oh my word, it's so beautiful. And the black spaces here along the deck just really adds to the whole feeling of the deck. And another modification is on my Gothic Tarot, and I just did black. This is black Sharpie. I did this a few months back, but honestly, it seems like it's wearing out now, so I might go over it with my Copic, or I might get an acrylic paint just to go over it, because it seems like it's gonna come off. But I kind of like it. We'll see what I do with that. Another modification I did is, and it took me a long time to convince myself to do it, just because it was an indie deck, and I have kind of issues with wanting to change my indie decks. And this is the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot, and I did it in this blue that matches this. Again, this is on another acrylic paint, and it came out really, really nice, and really happy that I did this. And yeah, so that's really pretty. And of course, I did, these are my superhero deck. This is my superhero deck that I printed out from Make My Playing Cards, and this came out really nice. I just did this randomly. I went down the list of Sharpies that I had, and I just did these in Sharpie. So that's basically all my favorite tarot deck modifications, with the exception of one. Let me just show you that real quick. This is my Universal Goddess Tarot, and you really can't, this is not really doing it justice. Let me see if I can focus a little bit more. But I took my time doing this. I put yellow acrylic paint, and then I went over it with the gold to match the fronts here. And I wanted a real rustic look. I'm gonna probably go over this again with the gold marker, and I think it will even improve it. And it's just really, really a nice color. It's very subtle on the gold bits, but you can tell that it's there. So pretty. I might go back and do a little black marks here and there on the deck, and then go over it with the gold, and I think that it will have just a little bite more of that antique-y look that I'm looking for on these. I didn't want it straight, pristine looking. I wanted it a little bit rustic, because it's the Goddess deck. So that's really pretty. I haven't modded all my decks. I don't think that I will. Although I do not like some of the edges that come from the factory. Like the numerous tarot is absolutely beautiful because it has the gilded stuff on it. And the new Dame Darcy one that I'm thinking about getting is gilded as well. I just think it will be up to the deck. It's a way for me to really bond with the decks, to look at the cards, to get a feeling for the cards, see how they shuffle, see how they interact with each other, see how they interact with me. And it's a way for me to make them my own. I'm only going to do the decks that I am going to keep. I say that now, but sometimes you go onto the swap groups, and people do not like or do not react well to modified decks unless someone that is notable in the community did them. So I think some of them I'm not going to mod. Right now I'm debating on whether to mod this deck, not cut the borders, but to edge it in pink. And I'm even debating on edging the pagan other word tarot. So, alright folks, this is getting entirely too long. I wanted to keep it down to 15 minutes, but I did not do that. I broke my own rule. So I'll see you on the other side. Have a great night and keep on tarotting.